Something that you need to be aware of is that Filipinos typically have the emotional capacity and the brain power of a 5-year-old. So trying to talk to them or have a logical conversation is pointless often. These are the women that actually give you the time of day or want to be with you. I'm not talking about the ones that go abroad for a better job and are somewhat intelligent. This is a regular Joe coming from the US and getting involved with the Filipina. You will be surprised about their behavior and how they actually communicate. It will blow your mind. Temperload says, how do you deal with Filipinas never admitting they're at fault? I've noticed that so many times they make a mistake or are the cause of a problem, and them admitting that it is their fault is less likely than me winning the lottery. They rather just completely cut everything about the situation off than admit they're wrong or at fault. And if you dare corner them with simple logic, evidence of their mistake, they will always react very poorly, shouting, tampo, you name it. Why is that? But more importantly, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? Don't. Move along. Cut them off. There's no need to be with anyone that has the maturity of a child. If you cannot simply communicate, that's lack of respect. They don't respect your thoughts, your feelings, or your time. So, the only way they can react and the only way they know how to react is to just be a child. Act like a child. Throw their hands in the air, scream, or simply give you the cold shoulder. That is the Filipino way, like you said, even if you show them evidence. This is very common in relationships despite the age gap or the situation. Huge Cheesecake says, I deal with them with service workers like handymen. I would just keep calling them over to keep fixing things until they did their job. Landlord was paying for it. In the stores, I regularly get hunted down by 5 sirs and ma'ams who want to advise me but usually have no idea what the item I want even is, don't know where it is, or don't know how it works to actually help. So I just kind of ignore this advice and do my thing until they give up and leave me alone. I also gave up trying to ask shop assistants where something is in a supermarket because they will rather give you wrong directions and waste your time than say, I don't know, or lie about being unavailable. I would rather find it myself. It's probably one of the most frustrating aspects of Filipino culture, and I always try to be gentle to not put anyone on the spot or argue, but when it comes to trying to overcharge or scam, I can be pretty ruthless. Pretty much any shop, hospital, or service may try to overcharge or scam, so I am very protective of my money and ask prices in advance every single time. Sometimes they might pressure you to pay something that is required, but just put it in their own pocket. Precisely, it's important to recognize behavior like this doesn't only happen with relationships. It's everyday interaction with a Filipino or Filipina. They simply do not know how to handle human interactions. Wycliffe says, Filipinos are very proud people. It's systematic of the deeply ingrained honor-shame culture here. The problem is that pride goeth before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Some Filipinos are so onion-skinned that they can't ever admit to fault, and often such attitudes destroy their entire lives and relationships with others. Better for them to apologize and heal their relationships with relatives, children, and others so they can move forward. But many of them are very prideful and spend a lot of time deluding themselves into thinking about how much better they are than others. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. This is a biblical way of telling you what we all know already. Lucky Larry says, I have lived with many Filipinos and that is not my experience. On the other hand, your issue seems to be with customer service, people who are in low-paid jobs. Of course, defend the Filipino. Dismiss this man's complaint completely. Just because your experience hasn't been the same doesn't prove anything. As we all know, the majority of Filipinos are thin-skinned and they do not know how to handle situations if they escalate. JV Mcan says, Aside from the government trying to extort me for money at every opportunity, I haven't encountered this. I explained that I can read their laws better than they can as they are in English, and that I have an attorney on speed dial. These are delusional individuals, delusional expats who think they somehow have the upper hand because they know a lawyer or something. They think just because the law is on their side, that somehow they can actually apply it in real life. Wake up. Just because you are right in the Philippines does not mean you will be rewarded justice. Oftentimes in the Philippines, it does not matter who is right or wrong. It just matters if you're a Filipino or a foreigner. That's it. Many times people know that the law will never be applied. That is why they scam you. They do not care if you have a written agreement. They do not care if you have a lease. They do not care if you have transactional statements of bank transfers, because they know it'll take years before anything ever even reaches the courts. That is why they do not care at all. But let's get back to people's behavior, because scamming is an everyday thing in the Philippines. Wrong Bubblebee says, the best thing I've ever done is to create a secondary burner account when dating in the Philippines. No exaggeration, about 95% of the women I'd be dealing with were talking to me and the other guy, while gaslighting me about how we are forever. Even after getting exposed with screenshots, they still swore they didn't do it. Yes, Filipinos are known to be cheaters, and you can show them photos, videos, but they'll sing your song like Shaggy and tell you it wasn't me. It's very normal in their culture to lie. They don't care because they actually have no honor, despite what they want you to believe. They don't have any pride, but they like to say they're Filipino whenever it is convenient for them. The truth is, Filipinos and their communication skills have not evolved, just like everything else in their country. If they don't know how to handle a situation, they'll simply lie or give you the cold shoulder. They do not understand that most people will calm down if you take accountability, which they usually do not. So instead of admitting a default, apologizing, and trying to find a solution, they often make the situation worse because they will lie straight to your face. As in this case with screenshots, they still will not believe you, or at least tell you something you know is definitely a lie. For example, this person was talking to the same girl using two separate accounts and screenshots, yet the person, the woman, denies everything. How do you deal with that situation? Do you get angry, aggressive, or simply walk away and leave her? It's not normal to be testing every relationship you get into. This is happening because we all know deep down there's something off about the person you are seeing. Why are they so secretive? Why are they always talking on their phone in a different language, or to their cousin, brother, uncle? Why are they in the bathroom for a long time with their phone and you can hear them engaging in a conversation, but when you confront them, they tell you it's nothing? The best comment from yesterday's video of substandard material is from Black Wonder Philippines. No lies told. I live here. Low cost of living is a myth. Everything from food to housing is low quality. I have found that you pay as much or more as in the West for quality goods and services. There is no worst comment. Thanks for listening. God bless.